Northern Europeans were the latecomers to colonizing the New World, but they did come and they were very successful. Those who explored North America were driven by a number of things. Some sought land to settle, others hoped to gain riches, and still others were looking for a northwest passage that would provide a direct route to Asia. John Cabot was commissioned in 1496 by the King of England, Henry VII, to seek out new lands. In two expeditions, Cabot explored Newfoundland in 1497 and sailed down the coast, probably as far as present day Virginia. Corte-Real from Portugal sailed first to Greenland, then to Newfoundland. However, he and his ship disappeared on the return voyage. Verrazano explored the coasts of Nova Scotia in North America on behalf of the French in 1524. He made several discoveries, including New York Bay, Block Island, and Narragansett Bay. He was also the first European explorer to name newly discovered North American sites after persons and places in the Old World. Cartier sailed for the French to North America in search of the elusive Northwest Passage. While he did not discover this route, he did sail up what is now the St. Lawrence River. Henry Hudson discovered Hudson Bay for the English, and then, on a later expedition, sailed for the Dutch up the Hudson River to present day Albany. He was hoping to discover the Northwest Passage, but like others, was disappointed. In 1608, Champlain established the colony of New France in the St. Lawrence River Valley and founded the capital city of Quebec. The colony was organized into small villages and relied heavily on farming and fishing. Trappers worked in the colony acquiring animal pelts to send back to France. In search of animal furs, these trappers explored the St. Lawrence River and traveled to the Great Lakes. These trappers were accompanied by Catholic Jesuit missionaries who hoped to spread Christianity among the Native Americans in North America. In 1673, Father Jacques Marquette and Louise Joliet traveled into Wisconsin and discovered the upper Mississippi Valley. Robert Cavalier de la Salle followed the Mississippi River all the way south to the Gulf of Mexico. The land that he discovered, he named after the reigning king, Louis XIV of France. The colony of Louisiana, was established. And in 1718, the city of New Orleans was founded. This resulted in the French claiming an enormous portion of central North America for France. The French government believed that a colony existed only for the profit of the home country, an idea partially supported by the economic theory of mercantilism. and so the colony was strictly controlled by the French government. The colonial government was controlled by the French, and trade was heavily regulated. Additionally, the population of this colony remained relatively small because few wished to immigrate, and those who wanted to, like the Huguenots, who desired religious freedom, were prohibited from going to New France. Consequently, while New France encompassed a vast territory, it had a relatively sparse and small population. What about the British? Recognizing the stranglehold that the Spanish had on the Central and South America, the English looked for a different route to the Far East, hoping to find a northwest passage that would provide them with a unique route to Asia. Henry VIII sent two ships, including the Samson, to locate a northwest route. However, these ships encountered a great deal of ice, indicating that such a route might be impossible. Future attempts to find a northwest sea route were also unsuccessful, with weather and other conditions usually making such searches not only fruitless but hazardous as well. Others, including the French and the Dutch, also searched for the route, with the same results. English colonization started in earnest at the beginning of the 17th century, and once initial colonization occurred, rapid settlement followed. England's earliest settlements in places like Roanoke and Jamestown paved the way for the creation of the 13 colonies. Some colonists came to North America for economic opportunities, like many of those who settled in Virginia. Others came to gain relief from religious persecution in England. Catholics found refuge in Maryland, and Puritans established a colony in Massachusetts, while the Quakers found a home in Pennsylvania. You see a big difference between the French and the English colonies. The French colonies were directly controlled by the government and were only for trade, and were very few people moved there. The English colonies were like the opposite. Lots of people came and they had a lot of freedom. And it wasn't just for trade, it was for settlement, permanent settlement. Here are the discussion questions for today's lecture.